Hello everybody, my name's Infinite Gamer, and today... Wait, what's that over there? I wonder what this does. Well, this is a problem. Oh no! Five Nights at Freddy's. Do I need to explain? Probably not, but I'm going to anyway. Five Nights at Freddy's isn't a horror game. It isn't a viral internet outbreak. It's definitely not a now multi-million-dollar franchise. No, this game was a movement. Get out of here, Martin Luther King. You may have had a dream, but this snot-nosed kid had a nightmare, and now we're all suffering. Books, a movie, merchandise, and of course the never-ending slew of games, all with questionable story that no one has truly figured out yet. How did we get here? How did it all start? This story is one of vengeance, getting back at those who cut others down. Our story starts with a beaver. Wait, that's not a bear. Yep, that guy came later. First, we need to talk about this wood chipper. You see, a man by the name of the real Scott Cawthon, that's a legendary name, was a Christian game developer and made a game by the name of Chipper & Sons Lumber Co. A hopeful game made for people to enjoy. But they didn't enjoy it, they actually nearly despised it. People said they didn't like the main character. They said he looked like one of those creepy animatronics, like the one at Chuck E. Cheese, making the game seem more horrifying than a fun adventure. Scott, nearly broken by all the criticism, nearly quit game design altogether. But then one night, something came over Scott, and then he snapped. If they think Chipper is scary, well, I could make something a lot scarier than that. We don't know what came over Scott that night, but my money is on that mushroom. That thing is definitely horrifying. Scott would work for 6 months putting the pieces all together until on August 18th, 2014, Five Nights at Freddy's 1 was released. Would it flop like a chipper, or would it swim like a sea bunny? Also, if you got that reference, then geez, you're a crazy person. Let me know in the comments below. Let's just say there was something brewing over on a small website called YouTube. Let's Plays and reaction content was on a rise, so what better game to play than a horror game? Horror games allowed to nearly merge two content styles into one, a Let's Play of the game and reactions to the scares. These games included the likes of Amnesia, Slenderman, Among the Sleep, but one game started to circulate. This wouldn't just be a passing trend. Five Nights at Freddy's blew up on YouTube. Compilations of FNAF jump scares would make its round on YouTube, but of course, one YouTuber really propelled the game to new heights.
Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier and welcome to Five Nights at Freddy's.
It's a simple pleasure in life when you can launch someone out of their chair, and it's all on YouTube. That was it. FNAF came and went, like a breeze in the wind. Until it came hurling back like a dang wrecking ball, Scott loaded the launch gun and mag dumped the entire clip. Shortly after the release of FNAF 1, a teaser showed up on Scott's website, teasing a potential sequel. Even shorter than that, a demo was sent to YouTubers to play FNAF 2, with the sequel finally launching on November 10th, 2014. Well, that was fast. Anyone else have whiplash? Anyway, with the release of FNAF 2 came more animatronics, more screams, and while the scares were still funny, it was the story that started to pique people's interest. So, just like how there was a Markiplier for the jump scares, there was a MatPat for the story. FNAF 2 added more story elements to the game, which I'll cover later on in this video. But now with FNAF 2 done and dusted, we can all rest and there's another game. FNAF 3 was also teased on Scott's website with a demo, quickly following it again, going to YouTubers all over the platform. FNAF 3 would officially release on March 2nd, 2015. This game was ripped to shreds by the internet. No one was talking about the scares in this game. No. Everyone was talking about the lore, with good and bad endings and apparently putting your phone number in a wall. Again, that darn mushroom is driving people crazy. Okay, 3 down. Now, before I say anything, I just gotta check something. Oh, yep, here we go. The final chapter. Okay, we're almost done. Cool. FNAF 4 was really hyped up with a bunch of different teasers saying that this would be the final chapter, with the trailer later launching on July 13th, 2015. It was confirmed that the game would launch on Halloween. Well, at least that gives us some time, and YouTubers are already getting demos. That's right, on July 21st, YouTubers were sent demos of the game, and the game finally released on July 23rd, 2015. Unlike FNAF 3, FNAF 4 was confusing. Everyone had no idea what was going on here. This was one of the most confusing games for the franchise, with it still being one of the only games to still be talked about to this day. No one really knows what this game meant, but it doesn't matter. It was the final chapter, and what an ending to this gaming juggernaut. Until there was another teaser on the darn website in April of 2016. A month later would follow a trailer for the game showing a bunch of new characters. Okay, this looks cool. I can't wait to play it. Oh, it comes out October 7th? Yeah, well, I doubt that, but we'll see. Okay, well, that sucks. I guess no more FNAF. And it's a troll. FNAF Sister Location launched on October 7th, 2016, and this game was the biggest FNAF game to be launched so far, with professional voice acting and an actual game structure, with the game progressing and changing in between the nights. It was a huge step up to anything else Scott had released so far. This leads us into FNAF 6. Well, FNAF 6 was actually cancelled. You see, Scott was working on it for a while before he realized that it wasn't what he really wanted to do. He said he had lost touch with what made game design so fun. So with a VR title in the works and a movie being made by Blumhouse, Scott took a break. He did hint that he wanted to work on something new, like maybe a Pizza Tycoon game. So when a teaser hit his website, people were getting hyped for what Scott had up his sleeve next. And on December 4th, 2017, we got... What the hell is this? Oh my god. Here it is. FNAF 6 was definitely weird. It felt like a huge mashup of everything Scott had learned from making the other games. Remember that VR game teased back in that blog post? Well, we got a teaser for the game on, of course, Scott's website. Wait, no? PlayStation State of Play? Holy crap! FNAF was really moving up in the world. FNAF VR was announced on March 25th, 2019, and would finally release just 2 months later on May 28th, 2019. While there's still another game in this timeline I could cover, I want to save the game for its own episode, as its story was pretty crazy. So other than that game, that's all the mainline FNAF titles to be released. With their history uncovered, let's move in closer just to see what made these blow up across the internet. Let's start with FNAF 1. FNAF 1 looks weird. I don't think it came across the footage, but there are these weird pixels that follow you as you look around the office. And with someone who gets headaches easily, this bug is awful for me, as there are just groups of pixels that stay stationary on the screen. But other than that, for a game made just by one guy, it looks really good. The models for the animatronics in this game also look really good. To be honest, this game is really good looking for just one guy making it in his free time. The sound design also really helps this feel more immersive, with the phone guy calls sounding like a real phone call, and the animatronic making a weird breathing noise that can just get under your skin in the right way. But screw the dumb guy. He needs to go home, jeez. But I can see why this game was checked out by everyone. It looks great, and it has a really fun concept behind it. FNAF 2 looked the same. I don't really have anything new to say for this game. Everything I said about FNAF 1 can kind of be applied here. I will say one thing, however. I absolutely love the Wither animatronics designs in this game, especially Withered Bonnie. He might be my favorite design of the whole franchise, just rivaled by Springtrap. FNAF 3 again is really similar, but why is everything green? Like, who the hell farted everywhere? FNAF 4 started moving into a new direction, with being able to move across the room. This game feels a lot more like FNAF 1 in the visuals, except without the annoying pixels. Obviously, this game has amazing animatronic models. I could look at these all day. Scott really went all out with these designs, and they really make for some horrifying antagonists. Also, the sounds in this game adds to the horror, since the whole game is based on sound, so you really get into listening, which makes the jump scares in this game hit harder. Sister Location looks crazy. When you open the game, you really have to question if you're still playing a FNAF game. I will say though, there's a lot of low-res textures in this game. Well, actually, in all the FNAF games, there are low-res textures. They are just more noticeable in this game, since the animatronics you really get to see looks so good. Also, for the first FNAF game with voice acting, it's done really well. Everybody gets the tone just right. Baby's voice is really good at sounding childlike while also sounding mysterious and ominous. William has a very precise sounding, almost robotic tone when he talks, sounding a lot more analytical. The hand unit is my favorite though. His voice is just the perfect business happy sound while still being a complete dick. It's the best.
Eggs Benedict.
FNAF 6 looks the best out of the Scott Cawthon games. I really love how this game takes the style of Chippers and FNAF World and uses it to make an honestly really fun Pizza Tycoon styled game. So it's very jarring, switching from happy-go-lucky visuals to scary vent office place, but I think that's what Scott was going for, so it actually helps this game more. FNAF Help Wanted is where we take a huge leap into AAA graphics. This game in VR is great. I didn't really react to the first 3 FNAFs, but when I got to the dark rooms, the VR really hit me. It's horrifying seeing these huge animatronics slowly lurk towards you. It just fills you with fear and anxiety. The visuals make these animatronics 10 times scarier. Withered Bonnie's eyes glow in a dark hallway. That is awesome and awful all at the same time. The fact that you can eat a cockroach though is disgusting. No matter which one of these FNAF games you're playing, there is one thing that sticks out. The atmosphere in these games are truly what make them scary. Sitting still in the dark and hearing weird noises come from the hallway are what builds up for any of these jump scares. I will say though, for me at least, I get scared once and it won't hit the same way, making the anxiety and fear wash away and the stress of playing these games rear its ugly head. So let's talk about the gameplay. Okay, since the first 4 FNAF games are so similar, I'm gonna run through everything. New things they added or took away, instead of going into their gameplay every time. Okay, cool. FNAF 1 has you in an office keeping an eye on 4 animatronics: Foxy, Chica, Bonnie, and Freddy. Sometimes there's a 5th secret animatronic, Golden Freddy, but his appearance is completely random and not normally a part of the main gameplay loop. Your goal is to keep these animatronics from attacking you. Your only protection is these 2 doors, one to your right and one to your left. You can use the cameras to track these animatronics. Chica will always attack you from your right side, and Bonnie will always attack you from your left side. When they reach your door, you can use a light to see them out your window. Once you see them, all you have to do is shut the door. Foxy is kind of like a timer. You have to check on him to see what stage he's at, and if the curtain is empty, that means he's on your way to the office, meaning you have to shut your left door. Freddy is kind of the same, except when he gets to your right door, he stays there for the rest of the night. So you have to keep an eye on him during the night to make sure he doesn't get to your door too quickly. Once you get to 6 AM, you beat the night. Now, you might be asking, why can't I just shut both doors and sit in the corner like a baby? Because it's a game. And the fact that you have so much power you can use. Now, I'm not a door expert, but I'm assuming having this kind of door shut would use less power, but nope. Shutting doors will use power, turning on lights will use power, and checking your cameras will also use power. If you run out of power, Freddy will come to your room and sing you a little song. Yay! And then he kills you. Aww. So conserving your power is a must if you want to survive. Beat all 5 nights and you win. I'm not covering any of the extra nights since I see them as extra content for players to discover themselves. FNAF 2 time. Same deal here, except Scott didn't like what the door said about his mother and he chucked them. So, the only way to protect yourself is a Freddy mask. You have 3 points of entry: a vent to your left, a vent to your right, and a hall right in front of you. When you see an animatronic in these areas, you can put on a mask and they will go away. Well, except for 2 of these animatronics. Withered Foxy doesn't like Freddy for some reason and will attack you if you put the mask on while he's standing in the hallway. You can flash the light at him a couple of times and he will go away. Be mindful though, as your flashlight has batteries, but thankfully the building doesn't anymore. So that means no more Freddy songs. The other animatronic is the puppet. This guy loves music, so keeping the music box wound up is imperative to your survival and your main use of the cameras in this game. If the music box runs out, then you're dead. FNAF 2 added these death mini-games, and when you die, you have a random chance to play one of these mini-games. It helps with the lore of FNAF, but we ain't talking about that right now. FNAF 3 really changed the system. Ha! I got you! Nope, you're still looking at cameras, but this time around there are 2 sets of them, one for the building and one for the ventilation system. There's only one animatronic this time around, and he is a real creep, since the only thing he responds to is fake children noises. Creepy. Also, this system was built cheaply since every 2 seconds you have something failing and you need to go repair it on your 3rd monitor. Good lord, I didn't need any more blue light FNAF, my retinas are already burned enough. You can have an error for your video, taking out all your cams, an error for your audio, which keeps you from luring a weirdo to a different room, and the last one is your ventilation, which will cause you to start hallucinating animatronics from the first 2 games, who will fake jump scare you. In this game, you won't get a death minigame, rather you will get minigames every night, kinda like a cutscene leading into the next night. There are also these really complicated secret minigames where you have to watch a YouTube tutorial, find secrets in between the nights to help you find these. Yeah. Definitely that. FNAF 4 is just a nightmare. Literally, you play in a nightmare world. This game's a lot more simplistic than the others in my opinion. You have 4 areas to check, and 4 animatronics to keep your eye on. On your bed are these little Freddys, which I think are called Freddles. You can shine a light at them and they'll clear off your bed. Foxy is hiding in the closet. Oh, come on Foxy, you can come out. We'll all accept you for who you are. Ah, you dick. What you'll want to do is hold the door shut on him until he turns into this deceiving little thing. It may look cute, but it wants to kill you. Tig and Abani come from the left and right doors again. You can run to the door to check it for breathing noises, which sounds like this. If you don't hear that, check with your light. If you do hear it, shut the door and go back to the center of the room. You also get a bonus minigame in between every night called Fun with Plush Trap, where you have to listen and try to get Plush Trap on this X. Do this while in the time limit and you get 2 hours shaved off your night. This game has also really started to step up with the cutscenes, as now you get more playable minigames, but this time, they have actual words! Wow, I hate them. Sister Location was a really weird FNAF game. This game broke the mold. As you can tell, each FNAF game adds its own mechanic to help it stand out from the others. 1 had doors and power, 2 had a mask and a music box, 3 had a child predator, and 4 had fake nightmare doors. But Sister Location changed this by having the game structured in a way where you progressed your way through the game, each night leading into the next with different activities happening each night. It was pretty impressive and a huge step up from the first 4 games with professional voice acting, meaning no more words. I love it. Also, Night 4, I hate you, you suck! FNAF Help Wanted is like a mashup of all the games with FNAF 1, 2, 3, and half of 4 as potential games to play, just if it was in VR, of course. But they have multiple extra modes in here too, that are completely original and super fun to play. I'm not gonna go through every one, but I will highlight some here. Parts and Service is where you have to repair animatronics by following the instructions given to you by the hand unit. Just be careful not to drop anything. Vent Repair has you going down an elevator and completing little puzzles, all while making sure nothing is crawling towards you. Since FNAF Help Wanted has the first 3 games in full, it's a little hard to talk about it without repeating myself. FNAF 6 is such a fun concept. This game goes back to normal FNAF rules, with you needing to survive 5 nights. Except this time it's not time-based, rather task-based. When you're done with your tasks, you finish the night, meaning nights can last however long or short you make them, letting the player feel like they have a lot more control in progression, even when they don't. The Tycoon game that sits on top of this is a blast to have in its addition. Making your own pizzeria is fun, but also has its own purpose. The better your restaurant does, the more money you make. The more money you make, the more upgrades you can buy to help you survive each night. This is amazing. I honestly love the system for the FNAF game. Too bad playing the actual nights is hard as hell. Just like FNAF 4, you get to play a minigame in between each night. It's a salvage minigame where you have to try and survive an audio test to see how the animatronics react. If they move, you get to zap them, but do this more than 3 times and you will decrease how much they are worth. If you win the minigame, you get a buttload of cash, but you also get a new animatronic attacking you at night, which actually means if you don't salvage a single animatronic, you won't have anything attacking you for the entire game. It just means that you'll get a bad ending. And yes, FNAF has multiple endings, which brings me to the story. I don't even know how to talk about this game's story. You see, there's very little confirmed for FNAF's story, leading to a lot of online theories to be made as everyone tries to figure out what is really happening in this game. This is probably my favorite part of FNAF. I love hearing everyone's different perspectives on the game series. FNAF is kind of like art. It's up to interpretation. Your take on the story might be different than someone else's, and I think that is an awesome attribute to have in anything, to be honest. It allows someone like me, who already experienced FNAF and ruined the whole surprise factor and scare factor, to almost re-experience the series from a new perspective. That being said, the games do have some concrete sections that seem to have been ironed out, so I'm gonna try my best to give a summary of that lore. I might get it wrong, so don't get mad if I do. Good? Good. Editor's note real quick. Charlotte is actually meant to be called Charlie. I kind of messed up, and I realized it way too late to fix it, and that's why I'm bringing it to your attention now. So every time I say Charlotte, I really mean Charlie, okay? I'm sorry. Don't be mad at me, please. So, it all starts with 2 people. Charlotte Emily and William Afton. One night, one of the owners of Freddy Fazbear's, William Afton, drives up to one of his stores where he sees a small child stuck outside. This child is Charlotte Emily, daughter of Henry Emily, the other owner of Freddy Fazbear's. Now, why he kills Charlotte, I don't feel is completely confirmed. It's theorized by Matt Pat from the Game Theorists that it's because his son died to Golden Freddy, but we do know that William Afton kills Charlotte. Charlotte becomes the puppet from FNAF 2, and William gets the itch to start killing. At some point, William's daughter gets killed by Baby, the animatronic from the Sister Location, which causes Baby to start acting weird, which leads William to believe that there is a way to bring back his dead son. He will put them back together, but he needs more test subjects and more kids in animatronics. So he puts on his golden bodysuit and just starts to killing.
I just love killing.
5 kids go missing due to William's actions, which causes the animatronics to also start acting weird. William will go back to the restaurant after it's closed down and dismantle the animatronics. He accidentally lets all the spirits out who, aren't happy about being killed, so they try to take their revenge on William. He gets so spooked that he hops back into the golden bodysuit, but there's just one problem. These suits are made with things called spring locks. These spring locks allow animatronic suits to basically have 2 modes, a suit mode and an animatronic mode. These spring locks though will come undone if too much moisture is put on them, and a broken down building has a lot of leaks, especially during a rainstorm. So William Afton becomes a shish kebab, left for dead. Well, until some guys grab him out of an abandoned restaurant and let him loose in FNAF 3. Yep, William Afton is the creep. Big surprise. It seems like William's first son, who we believe to be named Michael Afton, finds out about his dad's misdeeds and sets out to take down this monster. I recommend you check out the Game Theorist's full timeline video, as he, 1, knows what he's talking about, and 2, is better at giving you what information is concrete and what is more theorized. Hopefully though, I didn't do too bad of a job here. I will say there's a lot left out here for the sake of not wanting this video to end up being 2 hours long. My opinion on FNAF is complicated. Each one of these games is different for me, so just like with the gameplay, I'm going to go through all the FNAF games here in a row, give you my thoughts and opinions, then end it all with what I think you should or shouldn't buy at the end. FNAF 1 is hard to judge, with it being the first. There was no expectation with this game since it was, the first. It hasn't seen everything. It was this game that would turn this franchise into what it is today. But what made it do that? It was the atmosphere, in my opinion. The way Scott captures fear in the game isn't with the jump scares. No, the jump scares are just a payoff to all the build-up. And what I think is amazing is Scott didn't build up anything. It's all on the player in this case. The player has to let the atmosphere affect them, and then when the jump scare comes, it gets you. But if you're not someone who doesn't get creeped out by dark, empty rooms with noises, you're not gonna be scared here. And everything that makes this game great will fall apart in an instant depending on who's playing it. Also, I don't think this game did the best with the atmosphere, but it's definitely in the top 3 of the FNAF games. One more thing, the jump scares in this game aren't scary. Sorry, they just seem too slow for me. It might get you the first time, but after you get jump scared once, you're not gonna get the same effect twice in a row. Plugging this game into the spook meter, we get FNAF 2 is not my favorite. I think it's too bright and noisy. The gameplay in this game feels so unbalanced. Other than Foxy, all the other withered animatronics take lightning reaction speed to flip your mask up before they kill you. It's ridiculous. I can't tell you how many times I was so close to 6 AM when Withered Bonnie walked in, smacked the mask off my face, and told me how ugly I looked. It was incredibly frustrating. The jump scares in this game are a touch better, but still work like FNAF 1. Get spooked once, and it's going to be hard to be spooked again. And in this game, you might not even get scared once, since the atmosphere in this game is nowhere near FNAF 1. Plugging this game into the spook meter, we get a FNAF 3 is much better. They bring the colors down some, making it darker again, but I think Scott got confused since he chose a dark color. Why is everything so green? This always confused me. I love the environment in this game. FNAF 1 and 2 had okay locations, but not really anything to say about. FNAF 3, however, has a really interesting location since it's meant to be a horror attraction, making for more interesting visuals. I also think Scott put more time into the environment in this game since it's so focused on searching every part of the camera while you try to look for the animatronic. This game also has amazing designs. I love the hallucination animatronic. Springtrap's design is perfect, and they've never been able to recapture it in later titles. Scott clearly had fun making these guys. The hallucination animatronic jump scares are the scariest in the game, but Springtrap could be better. So, Springtrap, let's see what you can get on the spookometer. FNAF 4 is what I meant by 1 not having the best atmosphere in the series, because this game has it beat. I think this might be my favorite FNAF. FNAF 4 captures the atmosphere of how you felt as a child when you were awake in the middle of the night. House quiet, dark, isolated, or at least that's what you thought. Every noise made you jump, from the dog barking outside, the creaking boards you wouldn't hear when the house was lively, the footsteps right outside your bedroom door that when you went to check nothing would be there. This is what makes FNAF 4 have the best atmosphere in the entire franchise. The fact that you have to listen for the right noise just pulls you even deeper into the illusion. The animatronics are absolutely horrifying. These are the scariest animatronics out of the bunch, with just the right amount of noise and animation that it almost gets me every time. FNAF 4 in the Spookometer looks like... FNAF's sister location sucks. Sorry, I don't like it. It feels like it's missing everything that made FNAF so great. The voice acting is on par though. Everyone got into their roles perfectly. Also, Night 4, it was not tested. I don't care what you tell me. This was so stupidly hard, I really wanted to stop playing this game altogether. This game isn't scary. It's just frustrating, and honestly, it's my least favorite FNAF. No Spookometer for you, you're naughty. FNAF Help Wanted is basically a remastered version of the first 3 games, fixing a lot of the issues with them. It helps one feel a lot more scary when you can watch animatronics literally walk past your door. That is scary in a whole new way. It fixes FNAF's 2 BS from the withered animatronics since you don't need to have flash-like reaction times to survive them. FNAF 3 was already fine, and in VR it's the same. Although seeing the hallucinations in VR are crazy cool. All the extra modes feel like playing in a haunted house. It's scary fun. You have fun while playing, and you might get spooked while having fun. On the Spookometer, this game looks like... FNAF 6 I have a love-hate relationship with. The Pizza Tycoon is a well-executed, awesome idea. It adds so much to the game, but actually playing through the nights is not fun. I don't like the defense system in this game at all. It's really hard to track the animatronics, which makes it hard to lure them away from your office. It feels really frustrating and more stressful, and the jump scares aren't as good in this game either, which makes it feel more like a loss of progress more than being scared. That then adds on to the annoyance. No Spookometer for you either. So now that I've voiced my very lengthy opinion on the franchise, it's time to get down to business. What FNAF games should you get? I believe since FNAF 1 is so cheap at the retail price of $4.99, I think that FNAF 1 is something that you should play just for the understanding of how the series got to where it is now. However, if you're not someone who wants to experience that, I would skip FNAF 1, and I'll say why in just a second. FNAF 2 sits at a price of $7.99, and I don't recommend this one at all. I think it needed more balancing on the wither animatronics because they will just come at you and kill you constantly, and it's just annoying to play through. FNAF 3 also sits at a price of $7.99, and while I don't have anything really against this game, at $7.99 I'm gonna say to skip this one too, because there's a better version of it that I'm about to get into. FNAF 4 sits at $7.99, and it is worth it. This is the best FNAF game out of the original 4, and it didn't fully make it into the VR, so grabbing the original is definitely worth it in my opinion. FNAF sister location, can you guess it, sits at $7.99. I do not recommend this one either. Trust me, it's more fun to watch this game than it is to play it, and I didn't have any fun with this one. FNAF Help Wanted has a retail price of $29.99. This is the reason I said you should skip the first 3 FNAF games. If you add up all their titles, you get the price of $20.97. Meaning if you buy Help Wanted, not only do you get 3 games remastered playable both on VR and PC, you will also get 4 more additional game modes to play, making it a no-brainer for anybody who wants to play the first 3 FNAFs. Also, they fixed all the issues from those games, so you're just gonna get the better playing option by doing this. So, if you want to play the first FNAF games, I'd go this route. FNAF 6 is completely free. I would give it a go. I really loved the Tycoon game on top of the actual game. It was so much fun and silly, and maybe you will have a different opinion on the main game than I do, but since it's free, it means you can give it a try without losing anything. Go give it a try, come back to the video, and let me know your opinions in the comments below. And that's all I have to say about FNAF. Ha! I got you! Sorry for pulling a Scott there, but I do have to say one thing. I may have been hard on this franchise, but I do want to say that it came around during a really hard time in my life, and this community of gamers and theorists helped me feel like I belong somewhere. This story might have started with a vengeful spirit trying to get back at all those critics making fun of his game, but I think it ended with a cheerful child who made something great. August 18th, 2014. I think that was the happiest day for many of us out there. Like I said at the beginning of the video, FNAF's not a horror game. It's not a viral internet trend. Not a multi-million-dollar franchise. FNAF's a movement. It definitely moved me. that's a wrap of what is FNAF. This was pretty fun. This was a great big project to work on. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. And if you did, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button just right below the video. It really helps out the channel and allows more people to find me, so more people can see this kind of content. Thank you all so much for watching. You can't see it, but I'm waving you all goodbye.